Happy afternoon. So it is Monday and it is really hot outside. I want to say it's like 110 right now and gross. I'm doing my exchange. You can see my bag back here. Some cool things have been happening in my life. First of all, I do have Mr. Smokey back. If you remember, he was rehomed with my kid. But that's because my kid had a yard, and because when you're on dialysis, it's very hard to have a pet. In fact, they don't want you to have a cat. Um, and usually not a dog, just because when you've created a lifestyle with an animal, this is my opinion, by the way, when you create a lifestyle with an animal, sometimes it's hard for people to pull back on what was habit, and sometimes it requires retraining. For instance, Smokey's not allowed in the bedroom, but he is allowed to sleep on the couch. So I think sometimes other dogs or pet owners may have a hard time setting new boundaries and guidelines, and so that's why they really don't want you to have an animal, and the fact that uh, you don't want to get whatever their stuff is on your stuff, like hair, maybe fleas or ticks or outside doorsy stuff coming inside all the time. I mean, there's just so many things that can happen, but it's really great to have him back because that means that I am actually walking every morning. We get up about 5-ish and I take him out about 5:30-ish because I don't like the heat. You guys know this. And I don't want to take him out when there is a plethora of other dogs. And especially though, because I don't want his paws to burn on the concrete. And so we usually take a pretty good walk. Typically we are doing a 30-minute walk in the morning, and then at night I take him out for just a pee break really quickly. So that's really great because what that means is that I have worked out now for, let me check it out, 10 days straight. Now, my working out right now is just walking. And I'm not going to beat myself up about that because the reality is that's what I'm comfortable doing right now. That's what my body's allowing me to do right now. And I'm going to feel very proud of myself for doing that change in my life. And now having Smokey back is so much easier to be able to do that. The only funny part was is I forgot when my delivery comes, I have to put him someplace. So I do have a small little porch. You guys have seen my plants out there. And so I did put him out there, and he just gave me the look of like, how dare I be outside? Now there's no direct sun because they come in the early morning. But it's probably a good maybe 10 minutes. These guys are fast in and out of the apartment. And so I had forgotten about that. So when my new Baxter driver showed up with my medical equipment, I did have to put Smokey outside, which was hilarious too because Marshall was outside in his little cage and he just stared at Smokey like, what are you doing out here? So anyways, that's the newest adventures I'm on. Is one is working out every day, and two is just getting up and starting my day because it's so easy to just feel so tired that you just stay in bed. A weird thing that happened was over a week ago, I woke up and Ben told me that my eye, and I think you can maybe tell a little bit, it was really red, and I don't know why. I do not remember hurting it. I do not remember doing anything, like getting soap in it. It can happen when you have high blood pressure, but my blood pressure's been great. Or if you lift extra heavy things, and believe me, I've not lifted anything extra, except for maybe Charlie. Charlie is getting big, and he's so tall, but I don't really think that was it either. And it didn't hurt, it didn't itch, it didn't I didn't even notice it. Like my eyelid didn't notice anything different. Literally nothing. So yesterday I thought, okay, if it's still not gone, because I felt like it was getting bigger and growing to go this way. I told Donnie I probably need to go to urgent care. But then this morning when I woke up, it was so much better. And so even though it still looks pretty red and weird, again, it doesn't hurt or anything. So I don't think I'll go to urgent care, but how weird that I was all red-eyed about something. I don't know. Yeah. So anyways, there's that. And then the other thing I guess that is important to mention is that last Wednesday night, I was at the Jam and I was really hungry. So I ordered a nacho appetizer, which was so dumb because it was not good. Yeah. It just was not good. I did ask if they made the cheese because that's different than opening that can of fake cheese and throwing it on there. And she said that they do make it, but I really don't feel like they did or they do. And so anyways, after eating that and then after going home and after feeling gross and bloated and like, ugh, I realized, I was like, why did I even do that? Like, that's so weird. And so I decided to take a deep dive into looking at what I am eating, because even though I feel like I eat really well, I just don't know. I feel that I don't at the same time. I'm not eating, I don't really eat processed foods or preservative foods like crackers and cookies and cakes and cereal. You know, things like that. We just don't eat. I don't even buy them. And Ben, for the first time the other night, was like, can I get some chocolate up here? And I'm like, okay, fine. So I went and got him some, what were close to homemade chocolate chip cookies from Walmart. And so I did bring him those so he could have a little bit of a treat. But those are things that we just don't purchase. And so I was just like, what is going on? Because I felt so bloated, and I'm sure the nachos part didn't help. But I'm also certain that just the amount of food and eating that late was probably not the greatest either. And so how funny that you can slip back into patterns that are so unhealthy for you. And even though you feel like you're eating really well, maybe that extra little bit of eating late at night is actually not well. And I can only speak for myself because I've been doing tons and tons of research, Googling mostly, YouTube, to kind of figure out like what happens with your body when you eat. Because you know, you can have different diets like Mediterranean diet or Italian diet, Spanish diet, you know, different ways like that. And there's different advantages. Asian diets, yum. And then, so I started looking at Peruvian diet because I'm like, what? If I was born in Peru, or since I was born in Peru, what kind of foods did I probably just start off the bat eating? Of course, potatoes, quinoa. So I thought I would give quinoa another try because I've had it a couple times and honestly, it has not been great. It's just something I'm not used to. And so I really do feel like that would be something cool to eat, but I always have to check and make sure that I can eat it with kidney disease. The biggest things we have to look for when we're eating is going to be phosphates or phosphorus, potassium, and what was the other one? Protein. You just can't substitute red meat protein or meat protein with something man has created. And so I'm still very passionate about eating meat. I don't eat pork, and once in a great while I'll have like a couple pieces of bacon or maybe a piece of sausage, but I really try not to eat pork. So on Thursday I decided to start a fast. Now, before you panic and go call Beth, I guess typically fasting means that you're not consuming any foods at all. So you can have like water, and I think that's about it when you're doing a true fast. Now, I've always done intermediate fasting, and that's just kind of natural to me because usually I don't eat after 7-ish, and then I don't eat until around 11 the next day. And so because you're sleeping, that kind of helps alleviate that time. But I just didn't eat Thursday, and I felt so much better. And I kept thinking about food. My situation is this. One, I have to eat at least one bite of something because I have to take vitamin D. And vitamin D has to have food with it. And so I've been eating like one bite of something just to get that vitamin D because I still have to do dialysis. I still have to take care of myself. I'm also watching my dialysis numbers to make sure that I'm still pulling or that I'm getting out what I'm putting in. And it's fascinating to see how with not eating, I'm still pulling pretty much the same numbers. Nothing's dipped terribly low. So I am drinking coffee. If I get real hungry, I usually have a piece of gum. Sometimes I'll have a popsicle, which is not great because that's kind of sugary. My dialysis has sugar in it. So it's not like it's a hard and fast, but definitely rebooting my body to make sure that, I don't know, just to see how I will respond to and taking less. But I am excited about my first meal because I do think that it might be brothy, which I love soups anyways. So, you know, something that kicks you off of your fast has to be pretty gentle. And so I think that I will probably eat some type of Asian soup or something to just kind of get me barely kicked back into eating again. But I'm not eating because I want to lose a ton of weight. I mean, I do, but not like that. And I'm not eating because I have a food distortion. Because I have had that before, but I'm not doing that. It's really because I just feel so much better when I give my body rest when it comes to consuming food. And I know like a lot of times you can lose weight really quickly because you're not intaking water. But that's not my case because I'm continuously drinking water because I can't not do that. And I'm also peeing quite a bit. So it's like things are still coming out even though I'm not consuming a whole ton of stuff. And I've had energy. Like I'm going to be okay taking Smokey for his walk. And I have fasted for like a week before dialysis. I've done that several times. Like it just wasn't a big deal. And I think it was mostly because I was single and Ben would be at his dad's for the week. And so I would not have to cook for myself. I didn't have to. And I didn't want to. And it was boring. And so I just didn't. And so I think that that's where I kind of got in the mindset of how great you feel when you do fast. And I know different religions will fast for different things and different styles or different culture will do those types of fasting. And so I just think it's really good. I think that we'll see how it goes because I could come on here tomorrow and be like, forget it. I'm not fasting anymore. So when I say I'm fasting, it's just my own way of fasting. It's not going to be traditional fasting because I can't do that because I'm still on dialysis. I still have to watch my water and liquid intake, and then also I have to take vitamin D, so I have to have a bite of something every day to get that down. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna let you go, and I hardly put on any makeup today because my eye, but it's getting better, so thankful for that. Well, drink your water, and I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye-bye.